Alexander Usyk comes through with the decision against Derek Chisora, and Lee Selby gets robbed against George Kambosos. Knuckleheads, welcome to the Fighters Rep, where we give you free fights, interviews, and fight commentary from the mind of a promoter / attorney. So this was part one of our incredible day of boxing. Today we still got the Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz fight coming up. But we were able to luckily whet our appetite with Alexander Usyk taking on Derek Chisora. We knew this was going to be a big, heavy-hitting showing from Derek Chisora. We know he was going to go out there and try to bum rush Usyk, and that's exactly what he did, And for the first 4 rounds, it looked very much eerily similar, dare I say, to the Vasyl Lomachenko-Teofimo Lopez fight, where it seemed that Derek Chisora was putting the first few rounds in the bank. I think at least through round 3 or 4. Chisora was doing the better work. Then Usyk started to pick it up a bit in rounds 4 and 5 and took over. But still, it was a very competitive, close fight. Usyk actually showed that he can hurt heavyweights in this fight. In the 7th round, he had Derek Chisora reeling, and I actually thought he might stop him. The bell rang. Chisora kind of got, saved by the bell there. Came out refreshed. I felt like Chisora caught a bit of a second win in the 9th round and really started pressing the action again. The fight was a good fight. It was a competitive fight. I probably had it a bit closer than the scorecards indicated, but nonetheless, I think the right guy won in Alexander Usyk. But, this was a very competitive fight, and Derek Chisora, I think, can come again because he looked really good in this fight, especially if Usyk is what they're saying he is, the world beater that many people believe him to be. If Derek Chisora was able to put a performance like that together against him, Chisora's still got life in him, man, so I hope he continues. Because, he can still make some noise, and we'll see what Alexander Usyk does, though. This is either an indication that, he's very good because he beat a very tough Derek Chisora, a Derek Chisora that was very motivated, or it just shows that he can kind of compete with the sort of middle-tier heavyweights. Is he going to have this sort of success against an Anthony Joshua and a Tyson Fury? That remains to be seen, but I think with what he showed tonight, he's definitely going to have difficulty with those bigger guys. He had a lot of difficulty with a big guy in Derek Chisora, and I don't think that would bode well for him against a guy like Anthony Joshua or Tyson Fury. But, they don't really fight the same. Anthony Joshua definitely more of a boxer, although he can brawl a little bit, and Fury the same, more of a boxer, but he can brawl a little bit. But I think those guys, kind of fall back on their brawling as opposed to employing it throughout the fight like Chisora does. Nonetheless, I think the story of the evening, unfortunately, is another highway robbery, and I'm going to call it Halloween trick or treat against Lee Selby today against George Kambosos. This one was especially harmful, and this one especially stung because I felt like George Kambosos was running his mouth a whole lot leading up to this fight. He was talking about it's his time, and even after the fight, he was talking about how, he's ready for Teofimo Lopez. And listen, no, you're not. You lost this fight, at least in my book. You really got dominated in this fight. Maybe people saw it differently from me. Maybe I'm in the minority along with the commentators, but I saw this as a dominant performance by Lee Selby. Now, do I think either guy can beat Teofimo Lopez? Absolutely not, but that doesn't matter. The result of this fight is what matters, and I felt like Lee Selby completely dominated George Kambosos in this fight. I could maybe score 3, arguably 4 rounds for Kambosos, meaning that you'd have to give Selby 8 or 9 rounds. I just don't see how any judge, especially 2 out of 3 judges, but I don't see how any judge in their right mind could score this fight for Kambosos. I think this is another one of these pressure sort of situations where you have a young, hungry fighter coming up, and people are so anxious to replace the old fighter that maybe, I don't know, it takes over their minds as judges, or maybe there's something else going on, who knows, but an absolutely disgraceful, I'll go as far as to say a disgraceful decision, and I saw, I mean, it looks like one of the judges scored it 118 to 110. 118 to 110 in favor of Kambosos. You know, that is as offensive as any CJ Ross score. That is as offensive as Julie Letterman's scorecard, which was absolutely disgusting. I mean, this is right there with that. Just as offensive, I'll go as far as saying just as offensive as Julie Letterman's scorecard, indicating that Vasily Lomachenko won a single round against Teofimo Lopez. Just as offensive, just as disgraceful. Trick or treat, boxing fans. We get played again. And before I end this video, I got to tell you guys, it's up to you to fix this. Sign up for your boxing commission if you could do a better job than these idiots. These incompetent idiots that are judging these fights. 118 to 110 for Kambosos, and the other one 116 to 112 for Kambosos. Have you ever watched boxing in your life? Is my question to those two judges. Have you ever watched boxing in your life? You just took away a title shot and a ton of money from this man that he earned. From him, from his family. You robbed this man. And you deserve to be suspended. You deserve to be investigated. And that's all I've got to say about that. Knuckleheads, tell me what you think about that result. Hit the subscribe button, the bell notification icon next to it. Join Knucklehead Nation, where we operate a channel and a kickboxing promotion with integrity. With integrity. Hit the link below. Help me build a channel and a promotion with integrity by getting your FightersRep shirt, mask, tank top, or hoodie. Otherwise, watch as these sports continue to deteriorate and snowball into the disaster that they've become. Every decision, we're on pins and needles. We don't know if somebody's going to get robbed or not. It's just absolutely disgusting. I genuinely feel for Lee Selby today. He dominated that fight. It wasn't even like close. It was a domination. I'm out, knuckleheads.